and after we decide. But it's recorded, and after I can send you the link anyway for your friends. And if we think that it's valuable, so we can really make it totally public. Okay, we do like this. Okay, I think so. We can start. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Just when. Yeah, we'll start. We'll start. So, hello, dear friends. It's very nice to see all of you. So we can start this teaching. First, we'll take refuge. We'll develop the bodhicitta, and after I will say a few words about this teaching. I mean, why we are meeting together. What is the purpose? What is the aim? What we want to do together? And so, yeah. And after we can really start the teaching. But first, we'll take refuge. We'll develop the bodhicitta. I will recite in Tibetan, but I think all of you know the words. You can recite it in Tibetan or in English or in French or in whatever. But the main point is just to take one moment, even short moment, just to be in the position of taking refuge. To be in the position of taking refuge means, it's quite simple. In fact, it means that we just want to reach enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So this is the sentence, but it means that it's really like a wish we do. It's not only a prayer, it's also a wish, I mean an aspiration that I have. So it's also a little bit like, may I take refuge? I say, I take refuge. But in fact, it's a training in itself. So we don't have to imagine that just we recite and it's done. No, it's really a training, and because we are all together and exactly the same one. I'm not different than you, so we are on the path, and it means that because we're on the path, so we develop mainly this intention, this training of taking refuge every day when we take refuge. So we involve ourselves in that training. So we have to take in that way. I think it's better. So like that. But even if we are not Buddhist, in fact, so if we are Buddhist, yes, sure, this training is absolutely important. But even if we are not Buddhist, it means that I train myself to go in that direction, to go in the direction of, let's say, nirvana, even if it's not very clear what it means, nirvana. But it means, anyway, when we say nirvana, it can have the meaning of go behind suffering. But behind suffering means behind the confusion, and the confusion that it's mine, the confusion that in which I pass my day, in fact, and so it means that. So even if we are not Buddhist, it's meaningful, because it's meaningful to have the aspiration of being more free. In fact, being more free of my confusion, more free of my limitation, my grasping, and so on. So Buddhist or not Buddhist, it makes a difference, sure, absolutely. But it means also that it's open to anyone who need to develop the qualities of the mind, mainly. So, and we are here for that, mainly. So we'll take refuge. I recite in Tibetan and a short prayer. And so you just reflect on that or recite yourself as you want, as you wish. Sangye chutang tsoge chonam la chancho prato dane chapsuji dage chinsoge pe sanamange ndola penjere sangye drumbraish sangye chutang tsoge chonam la chancho prato dane chapsuji Dage jinsoge besunamge dola binjire sunge dumbaish sange chetan soge chanala chungchok panto dane japsunj Dage jinsoge besunamge dola binjire sunge dumbaish Simchen tam che dewa tam deve ju tam den parai ju. Tungal tam tungal ke ju tam chol varai ju. Tungal me be dewa tam pa tam men chol varai ju. Nyiring cha tam nye tam chol ve tam nyam chen bola nam parai ju. Simchen tam che dewa tam deve ju tam den parai ju. Dunga tang dunga kei chua tang tang varai ju. Dunga me pe de wa tang pa tang men chol varai ju. Nye ring cha tang nye tang tal ve tang chen bo la nam varai ju. Sen chen tang che de wa tang te ve ju tang ten varai ju. Dunga tang dunga kei chua tang chol varai ju. Dunga me pe de wa tam pa tang min dal varai ju. Nye ring cha tang nye tang tal tang nam. Chen po la nam varai ju. Palen sa lam ma rim po che da ge che war pe me den jo. Ka den chen pe pa ne che song te ko song tu ge ma do. Sa do sa. Yes, so it's possible also, maybe not you, but we never know who will listen to that teaching. So maybe some people will be will be wondering, but why we recite this? So I explained, but I also have to add something. It's absolutely necessary for myself. I mean, it's absolutely necessary for all of you, all of us. But for myself, because when you explain the Dharma, you can you can really you can be trapped. You can be trapped in the game of thinking that you are a teacher, that that you know the Dharma, that everything. And I think I have to say, and I will repeat that a lot, that I'm not. But what does it mean? It means that it's not a position. It's not a knowledge, an extra knowledge that you don't have. It's just a disposition of a certain game. So I'm in that position to speak, in order to make the condition, it participates to the condition, to the general condition, to the general situation, in fact, in order that we reflect on the Dharma, that we hear the Dharma, that the Dharma, maybe because of that, the Dharma can gain some meaning for us in our life. So it's exactly this. I mean, we are together to share and to reflect about the Dharma. So this is important. So these prayers are helpful for us, but for me personally, it's important because it reminds me that I'm exactly the person who is on the path, who want to understand better the Dharma, to go to enlightenment or to reach enlightenment, as we say. It's not that it's someplace somewhere, but to reach enlightenment in order to get rid of that confusion. So it's important also in the sentence, in the prayer I recited, there is the four limitless thought. So compassion, first love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And this is really, really important, because this is the main wish that we can make, that we can have. It's really to get free, not only ourselves, but to get free all sentient beings from suffering. So for that, so we have to wish, may all they be happy, they get happiness, and the causes of happiness, may all they be free from suffering, and the causes of suffering may all be in the experience of joy, and also in the great equanimity, free from any partial attitude. So like, I think, for instance, like, I like or I dislike, attachment on one side and anger, aversion of the other side. So it means that we make this wish, and this wish is really important, because it reminds us that this is the purpose, in fact. So this is the purpose of the Dharma. So when I say that, it's really helpful for me, because it reminds me that's the purpose. The purpose is not that only I make a good speech. Yeah, sure, it has to be interesting. It has to be good for those that are listening. But the main point is to be on the path, and every day to develop this motivation. I think this is absolutely important. I see in myself, because otherwise I get trapped in all the tricks, of the samsara, because I'm totally addicted to the samsara. So I'm not free from the samsara, and I perceive that in my mind. And so it's something strange, for instance, to be lazy, to not to have the energy of doing things. So this I know perfectly, I know perfectly the samsaric side of myself better than the enlightened side of myself. So that's why I'm on the path, and that's why we are on the path. Otherwise, we don't need the Dharma, because we can. This is just a general reflection, because after that, so we'll go. We'll try to understand a little bit better the four dharmas of Gampopa, but we can remember that the Buddha himself said that the Dharma, it's not the absolute refuge. Something is it can be not a shock, but people, they don't know that. They don't know that a lot. But in a traditional way of explaining the refuge, I had many times the opportunity of translating the refuge ceremony with Lama Tenzin. Lama Tenzin, my master, as you know, and so I learned from him. And really many often he explained or remind us that there is three refuges. So this we know, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, but only the Buddha. It means only the enlightenment is the ultimate refuge. So Dharma and Sangha are a relative refuge. So what does it mean? It means that till we need these two refuges, so we need them, that's all. So I mean, because we're on the path, we need the Dharma to understand better, to go, to use the Dharma in order to reach enlightenment. It's really the way, the means also that we have, the tools that we have. And so that's why I said before that we are here for that. We are here to understand a little bit more the Dharma. But I'm not personally here thinking that I know better the Dharma. Again, the Dharma, it's the thing I need, the thing you need, the thing we need to progress or to understand, just to be in the path, progress. It doesn't mean that we have to reach something, but we have to be more lucid, more compassionate, more helpful for ourselves and others. And this is the main point, really. And and I think it's not only the main point, but it's also the fundamental aim of being together and the fundamental aim of trying to understand the Dharma. It's for that. It's not for another purpose. And we'll see that also in the four Dharmas of Gampopa. And so we start today with these four Dharmas of Gampopa, and we see what we can understand from that. So for me, it's more, when I think about the four Dharmas of Gampopa, if some Kempos, they give teaching on that, it can be really marvelous and really profound. But for us, it will be not like that. It will be more simple, I think. So it will be like a training we do together in order to understand these four sentences. You will see just four sentences and it's done, but it's done. But there is all the teaching in it. So we can speak a lot about that, but mainly not to speak only, but also, and I think this is the main point, to reflect on that. And after reflecting on that, it means to get used to that, so to transform our vision. So this is the purpose of these four Dharmas of Gampopa. And you will see that, in fact, in this teaching, Gampopa, he is expressing exactly what I'm trying to say. Sure, for Gampopa, it's a little bit different in the way that he's enlightened. So he can really speak about his experience, and he speaks from his realization. So we don't speak. I don't speak from my realization. I have no realization. But we can use the realization of Gampopa in order to get realized also. So this is the trick. And so because of the activity of a great bodhisattva like Gampopa, he has the tremendous kindness to speak to us, even if for him it's clear. We can say that, yeah, it's done. So why to say? So just to help. So in fact, we are using what he thought it will be helpful for us in order to understand what he understood. And so this is really the basic understanding that we can have from that. So to speak about the four Dharma of Gampopa, I will use a text. And after I can send you the text bilingual with Tibetan and English. So I took that, in fact, from someone maybe you can know, because it's a man named Rolf Schuermann in Vienna, in the University of Vienna. So he done a beautiful, really, really interesting work about the four Dharmas of Gampopa in the university here. And so I used his translation to make a bilingual text with the four Dharma of Gampopa. And just to see that section, it's a section of the Tso-Chu Chenmo. Tso-Chu Chenmo, it's interesting. It's so maybe first I have to, in order to understand Tso-Chu Chenmo, I have to explain the general context. Because as you know, Gampopa was the disciple of Milarepa, so this is clear. So it means that at the time of Gampopa, so himself, he received two main transmission. One transmission of the Kadampa, one transmission from the Mahamudra. So he really, let's say, mixed, we can say, or I don't know if this is the correct word, because it's not a mixture, but it's more inspiration coming from the Kadampa and coming from the Mahamudra. And he put them together in order to explain the Dharma in a maybe a little bit different way. And that's why he's so particular, Gampopa, so excellent also. He's really, we can say he's the forefather of the Kagyu lineage. But we also have to say, I think, I hope not to say something wrong, but it was clear for all these forefathers, like Marpa, Milarepa, Gambupa, just to speak about the Tibetans one. But when we speak about the Indians one, so Tilopa, Naropa. So I think for all of them, for these fathers, the objective was not to create a lineage. It was obvious that there is a lineage because they received teachings, instructions, and there were pure disciple, all, and pure master in their turn. And they just received the instruction perfectly. They developed, they accomplished this, realized these instructions. And it was obvious in the way that they just gave these instructions to those that were suitable to receive them in a simple way. After we can say a lot of things about the transmission itself, but it doesn't mean that they thought. I think that they didn't think that, okay, I have to organize or to settle an organization, and in that way, so I can I don't know, spread my instructions. It was not like this, but eventually it became a lineage, an organization. So today we can say we're Kagyu. But in fact, these teachings were mainly a way for them to help us, to help their disciple to understand better. So we can say that Gampopa, he is the forefather of the Kagyu lineage, yeah, sure. But you will see that in the four dharmas of Gampopa, yeah, maybe we can say there are Kagyus. Yeah, definitely, because of Gampopa himself. But there are just, let's say, the essence of the Dharma. That's all. So the essence of the Dharma, it's not particularly Kagyu. So it's just the Dharma. So yeah, for that, I think it's important to understand the context of transmission. So it means that these four dharmas of Gampopa, so Gampopa, I think he didn't say, okay, I will write down the four dharmas and we'll say that they are the four dharmas of Gampopa. They became the four dharmas of Gampopa. So first they were just instructions that people need. So when he was speaking with Tusum Khenpa, maybe we'll have time, not today, but we'll have time to see what he said to the first Karmapa, Tusum Khenpa, about these four Dharma of Gampopa. So we can perceive in all the tradition of the commentary of the four Dharmas of Gampopa that he spoke to a lot of disciples. Sorry, I drink a little bit of tea, so you can drink also. And by the way, you tell me if you need a break, a pause, or just you want to say something, you can, no problem. So he spoke about the four dharmas of Gampopa many times in many different occasions. So but I think it's important because it's, I don't know if we can say spontaneous, maybe, why not? But we can definitely understand these four dharmas of Gampopa like the correct way to respond to a certain situation. So people, they have doubt. It doesn't mean that they doubt about the meaning of the Dharma. It's not that, because when we speak about Tusum Khenpa, for instance, absolutely not. But they have their questions. They are on the path also, and it's really touching to see the exchange, for instance, between Gampopa and all his disciples. So there was text of that. I don't know how it was passing down through the generation, but we can imagine that people there were, at the moment, they were really touched by these instructions, and so they wrote down in order to remember, and slowly, it became text. I don't know exactly when it was written, For instance, I have to read more about this interesting work of Rolf Scheuermann. So maybe he will say when it was written down. So it's possible we can know, but it means that it's a process. So slowly these instructions that were gave to help the disciple to understand better. So slowly, there is Elisa Amadeus who is coming. So welcome, Elisa, welcome. So we're speaking about the four dharmas and Gampopa. And if you want to listen from the beginning, so you can, because after it is recorded. So just to say. So these four dharmas of Gampopa, okay. Gampopa wanted to make it clear how we have to practice the Dharma, how we have to understand the Dharma, how we have to proceed into the path, or what we have to do during that path. And so he explained that in 4 sentences. So that's why it's quite amazing, because how it is possible, to condense all the teaching of the Buddha in these 4 sentences. But really, for that, for Gampopa, in order to be able to condense of this teaching, he needed to, he needed to find the fundamental words that will explain us what is all about this Dharma, what is this? So what we are doing, what we are trying to do. So he had to go to the real main point of that first. And also he had to be himself the personification of that understanding. It's not just a reflection, intellectual reflection, thinking that how I will explain to them what is really the Dharma and how we go to that path of the Dharma till we reach enlightenment. It was not a reflection of that kind, It was more his deep understanding, his deep realization. So because of that, it was possible for him to say, but it's just that. When we say, because it's absolutely clear. So he said that Chu Chu Sudroa. So this is the first sentence, Chu Chu Sudroa. So it's very, very, very easy. Even in Tibetan, you will see the text. And if you want to know the text in Tibetan, you will have the commentary with that. And so it can be useful. But in Tibetan, Chu Chu Sudroa, Chu Chu means the Dharma. So when you say Chu Chu Sudroa, it's really simple. It means Chu, the Dharma, Chu Sudroa, the Dharma has to go in the direction of the Dharma. But in Tibetan, it's more simple than explaining in English or even in French or whatever. Because in fact, Chu Sudroa literally means it's like going to Paris or going to Vienna in the construction of the sentence. It means like if I go to Vienna or if I go to Paris, if I go to the Dharma, like if the Dharma is somewhere and I have to go to the Dharma. But first he says, Chu Sudroa. It means that the Dharma has to go to the Dharma. Literally, it means that. Chu Sudroa. So it's quite, so we have to reflect on that, what does it mean? Chu Sudroa. The Dharma has to go to the Dharma. So it's really important because it makes us understand that what I said at the beginning. So this is what we have to do. So that's why I'm not in the position of saying that you have to do. It's not you have to do. It's we have to do. So we are totally the same, considering this, because that's what we have to do. And he said that not only to us, but also to Sum Kempa. So, for us, maybe it's a little bit helpful because because otherwise we think, but it's really, for beginners, the Dharma that goes to the Dharma, it's clear anyway. I'm a practitioner, so I go to the Dharma and I'm practicing the Dharma and it's done. So it's clear. So I don't need that. It's really for the beginners. But when he when he said that to Sum Kempa, he didn't say that to a beginner. Absolutely not. It was to Sum Kempa. So we have the chance ourselves to hear that sentence again. So you just imagine, how it is possible. So it means that what once Tusum Kempa himself heard from Gampapa, we are in position to hear it again. So amazing. So it means that we are receiving the exact instruction of Gampapa. So this is really something. That's why a lot of commentary were written about this four dharmas of Gampapa. But strangely, in the West, we don't know a lot about these four dharmas of Gampapa. Even in the Kagyu centers, strangely, we cannot say that there is a lot of teaching about the four dharmas of Gampapa. So this is one of the reasons I think it's good that we speak about, that we reflect on that four dharmas of Gampapa, because it's deep and it's really important. But maybe it's too obvious for the teacher. I don't know, But anyway, there is a beautiful literature, a commentarial literature about these four dharmas in Tibetan mainly, and never translated. So it's a little bit of pity because it's interesting, but maybe slowly it will change. So this is possible. So anyway, I will use a commentary after I just explained now the context, and I think it's important. I will use a commentary that comes from the Tsokchu Chinmo. So that's why I wanted to explain you the context, because Tsokchu Chinmo means the great assembly of the Dharma. It means also we can understand that like a gathering of people, and a master who speak to these people. So this is possible also, but we can also imagine that it's the great gathering of the Dharma, meaning the great gathering of the instruction of the Dharma. So it has many things, many meaning, but it's let's say a type of literature in Tibetan. So in it, coming from Gampapa, because there is the Tsogyo Chenmo of many masters, Pema Karpo or other. But Tsogyo Chenmo of Gampapa, in it, there is many things, and there is explanation about the four dharmas of Gampapa, coming from the fourth Shamarpa, Chukitakpa. And it's really interesting because we have an explanation coming from the Shamarpa in this gathering of, or in this collection of the Dharma. And so we'll see that. So I will. Okay, I will explain that. So I'm wondering, maybe I just read the sentence in Tibetan. So like that, there is the blessing of the Tibetan, and after I go with the English. So he start like this: Lama Rinpoche Shilne Karpo Chu Chu Tam Chu Karpo Chu Tu Sam Nin Shi Sung Dum Sa Jangum Rup Drupla so chi chi chang chu le su ma song war chu chu su do wa shi gu song ona le kang yin she na. Okay, so he said, the precious guru says, no matter what positive Dharma activity you engage in by hearing, reflecting, listening, expounding, preserving, retaining, accumulating, purifying, meditating, accomplishing, and so on, in order that Dharma practice does not become stained with karma, one needs a Dharma practice that turns toward the Dharma. One may then ask, what is karma? So, okay, you see, even in that, so there is a lot. So it means that no matter what positive Dharma activity you engage in, so there is a big list here. It's exactly what we do. So hearing, reflecting, listening, expounding, preserving, retaining, accumulating, purifying, meditating, accomplishing, and so on. So it means that all the aspects of the Dharma, whatever we do, but really whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we, the single mantra you recite, we recite, whatever we do. So, in order that Dharma practice, all these kind of Dharma practice, does not become stained with karma. Stained with karma. Wow. What does it mean? Stained with karma. It's not, it's interesting in that text because it's not say that, so you will see karma, it's something that we know. But it's interesting to say, though, not stained with karma. So karma, it's, to make it simple, even if it's not simple, because karma is huge. We can say a lot of things about karma, but karma means act, means what we do. So in a beautiful text, Karma Parchinita Yaduje said, there is not the karma and ourselves. It doesn't go that way. We are the karma. The karma are us. It's not that we are separate from the karma. It's not that I have a karma. No, I'm the karma. So it's not just a way of speaking. Absolutely not. It's really a way of understanding the meaning of karma. So it means karma in that way, or in that sense, karma means, from what we are composed of. Because we are composed, we are the result of an aggregate, of aggregation of things, we can say. We are aggregation of habits, of a way of doing, a way of perceiving, a way of speaking, a way of acting, and etc. So it means that everything is karma in that way. And so that's why the Trinitaya Doje said that we are not separate from the karma. So we are indifferentiated from the karma. We are the karma, in fact, and the karma is us. And it's interesting because we can get rid of the burden of thinking that the karma is very heavy and the karma is on our shoulder, and how to get rid of karma. I mean, how to to throw away something that it's not myself. And so if we think in that way, so we develop a sort of understanding that it's very strange, because we think that there is a bad part of ourselves that we have to put away. But if we go really further with that kind of understanding, so it means that we become our worst enemy. So it means that we want to fight against ourselves because we think that this is, I have bad part in myself. I have negativities. Sure, I have. But the way I understand the presence of this negativity is really important. So when the Karmapa said, I am the karma is myself, so it's not different than myself. It's a way of saying that at least I understand it that way. I don't know, maybe we can say a lot of things about that, but I understand like you have to act within yourself, with what you are. You know, for instance, Pema Chodron said that the path start where you are. So it's exactly this. So the path start where we are. So not where we are not, you know, or one day. No, it starts exactly now with the thoughts I have. So with the situation that is mine. So this is the karma. So I mean, I have not to struggle with that, but I have to do something with that. Because I am myself, so I cannot pretend not having this kind of thought, not having this kind of emotion, this addiction, you know, mental addiction to certain things. So I have to just consider that they are present in myself. So when you say, in order that Dharma practice does not become stained with karma. So what does it mean? So this is a great question, you know, big question. One needs a Dharma that turns toward the genuine Dharma. So this is the answer. So it means that if we want that the Dharma practice, it's not absolutely I will not say contaminated, because again, we can say that, but it's a little bit tricky. But if we want that the Dharma practice that we do doesn't go, or more exactly, doesn't feed, you know, or nourish the ordinary habits that we have, so we have to use the Dharma inside ourselves to nourish or to feed ourselves in another way. So this is really interesting. So when he said that, in order that it doesn't, you know, how he said that, in order that, okay, the Dharma practice does not become stained with karma, you know, or does not become karma. So this is really interesting, because in Tibetan it's that doesn't become karma also. So it means become karma means reduce the Dharma practice to what we, just to the limit of our understanding. So limit of our conditionment. So because karma, it's a conditionment. It's not something else than to be conditioned by something, to be conditioned by the action that we do, by the thoughts that we have, by the words that we say. So this is the conditionment. So we are conditioned. We are a conditioned being, you know, sentient beings. Being in the samsara means to be conditioned. Otherwise, we cannot be in the samsara. It's impossible, because samsara, it's the reflection of that conditionment. It's not something else than the conditionment itself. So it means that we have to use the Dharma in order to not making karma. It's maybe a way to understand that we have to use the Dharma to get out of the karma. So to get out means to make a step away. We can say a little bit. It doesn't mean that to reject, but it means that we have to go in another logic, you know, in another process. So it means that the Dharma has to teach us in order to act with the Dharma in another way that we act usually. Because otherwise we'll create again karma. So it means that we'll develop the Dharma practice, even if it's the Dharma practice, as an ordinary practice. So, wow, when you listen just that, and we're at the beginning of the explanation, and this is the first sentence in Tibetan. So even that, it's tremendous, because it means that how we do. So how we do to do in another way that we usually do. And because the way we do, the way we do the things, the way we think, the way we express ourselves, it's always a habit, a conditioned habit, a karmic habit. So he said that in order that this Dharma practice does not become stained with karma, or literally does not become karma. So the Dharma has to go to the Dharma. And he said, so why one may then ask, what is karma? And he said, and it's quite simple and interesting, because you will see the implication of that are great, important. So the translation of that sentence means there are the three: desire, aversion, stupidity, or ignorance. These actions brought about by these are non-virtue. So dekele ni migewa. So it means that if you do something according to attachment, according to desire, according to aversion, according to ignorance, so you are creating karma. So he said that it means that the Dharma practice has to be totally free of that. So this is the possibility of making that the Dharma goes to the Dharma. Otherwise, it doesn't. Yeah, no, it's not right. It's not right. I mean, it's inefficient in a way. We can say, yeah. Please, Eda. Yeah.
The question is. Okay, everybody knows the answer maybe, but for me to understand completely ignorance, I don't know why it's difficult. Aversion, attachment, okay, but ignorance, I'm always like, it's not clear for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we speak about ignorance. Yeah, because ignorance itself, it's a tricky matter, because ignorance, we can say ignorance itself try to hide itself behind many things. So in order that we don't understand in ignorance, this is the trick of ignorance. It's to make us in the difficulty of understanding what is ignorance. So we can say maybe it's easier. What is the contrary of ignorance? What is the contrary of ignorance? For us, at our level, maybe it means to be conscious, to be aware, to be present at what we are doing, what is our motivations, what is the games in which we involved or we get involved in ourselves, when we respond to the world, when we respond to the situation we meet, we encounter. So just to be aware, it doesn't mean to be more perfect, but maybe it means to know that we are not perfect. So because otherwise, ignorance, it's just a way of perceiving ourselves in a clear light. But I'm not using clear light in the meaning of the absolute nature of mind. But in a clear light means like crystal clear. So to see what is going on, So to get rid of ignorance means to be fully understanding of what is going on. For instance, if I'm totally jealous, So it means that I have to understand. So, but just to accept, not to accept to be jealous and say I have the right to be jealous. It's not that. Absolutely not that. It means that, oh, I'm jealous. Oh, I'm trapped in that. Ah, okay. Oh, I'm trapped in the desire, in anger, in aversion, and so on. And so training myself to fully understand, to fully recognize what I'm doing. So this is the first step to get rid of ignorance and to reduce the weight of ignorance, the pressure of ignorance, because ignorance tries to make us totally unaware of what we are, unaware of what we do, what we think, what we, In a situation of conflict, now in Europe, we have a war. It's incredible, but it's possible because those that are, getting involved in their trap, in their tricks, I don't know, in their habit, they don't have the understanding of themselves. They don't see that, they don't perceive themselves being angry, for instance, being jealous. They don't see. They just think that there is a good reason for that. They don't perceive themselves. So for us, in that case, ignorance means, because ignorance can mean, has a lot of different meaning, like ignoring our true nature. So this is sure, the ma-rigpa, rigpa means the let's say the aware part or aware quality of the mind. So it can say, or it can mean also, it can have the significance of the pure aspect or the enlightened aspect of the mind. Rigpa. So this is possible. So we can say ma-rigpa means not understanding what is the true nature of the mind. Sure, but this is a very high level of understanding. For us, for me, for myself, when I speak with Agathe, my wife, it's the point is to understand what I'm doing, or how I'm responding to her, or when I am angry or upset by something, for instance. So fighting against ignorance, it's not really fighting. It means that to be aware. So for us, it's really enough for our job, because we have to try to do what he says. So he says that Dharma goes to the Dharma. So in order that the Dharma goes to the Dharma, so I have to get rid of desire, aversion, and ignorance. But hopefully you asked this question, because I think it's absolutely important. If we have too much ignorance in ourselves, or it means if we are too unaware of what we are doing or thinking or acting, so it's really difficult to know that we are trapped in desire or trapped in aversion. Very difficult, because we always think that it's good what we are doing, there is no problem. But in order that the Dharma goes to the Dharma, it means that no, there can be a problem. If we practice the Dharma with desire, with aversion, and it's possible, we can be Kagyu and we think that the Gelug are not good. For instance, it's easy, yeah? And in that case, I'm not saying that these people, they are not good and they are not good practitioners. This is not the point. I am not the judge for anyone. Anyway, this is clear. But it means that am I in concordance or harmony or linked deeply with what Gompapa is trying to tell me, that's the only point. So if he says to me that going to the Dharma that goes to the Dharma means to get, not become karma, not become tainted by karma. It means that I have to develop a beautiful sense of being aware with myself, totally present of what I'm doing. For instance, presently, I'm speaking to you, what I'm doing. Am I doing this with desire, with aversion, with attachment, with ignorance? With ignorance, absolutely sure. So that's why I have to think about what I'm saying. I have to think about, because it's not natural, you know, I have to exercise myself. I have to train myself to be aware. It's not naturally present, you know. It's not that naturally we are not attached, that naturally we have no anger, absolutely not. But so it means that right now, you know, because he said, yeah, reflecting, listening, expounding, preserving. So I'm now expounding, you know. It's just unbelievable for me, you know, what I'm doing, you know, explaining you the Dharma, you know, for me, it's not really comfortable because I'm really, I don't perceive, you know, it's not that I'm Kempo who can really say something, you know, but anyway, you know, the situation is like this. So how I'm not using it, but how I'm getting involved in that, you know, with what kind of motivation and so on. Otherwise, the Dharma does not become the Dharma. So the Dharma has to become the Dharma in the way we are listening, in the way we are expounding, in the way we are using it. And it's not that it's a huge responsibility that you have, a burden that you have to carry. No, it's not that. It's more a way of trying to, Yeah, we can say that. We try. You try, I'm trying. And that's why we're together, you know, to try, to listening correctly, to expounding correctly. So we are like little kids trying to understand. So you know, we're at the school. You know, if it's a really, you know, great disciples listening to great masters, so it's different. You know, they already trained themselves. They are very good. They are excellent, you know. Gampopa was an excellent disciple. Milarepa was an excellent disciple. They had excellent motivation and excellent practice. And compared to them, you know, when I think about myself, wow, what a shame, you know. It's nothing, you know, really not. So here we are in the process of understanding what we are doing. And I think we are really, you know, at the first step of the Dharma. I am in the first step of the Dharma, really. Nothing more than that. Because this is what the teaching told me, you know, or tell me, you know, I have to take care of that. So I have to take care of all the aspects. Otherwise, the Dharma will never become the Dharma. So you know, the aim is important, you know, in the first Dharma of Gampopa. It's not just an easy sentence and you can go further, you know, without paying attention to that. It's really important. It's, let's say, one of the main points. So now, and after he said, Che sumpe ngu su che na lami deva la soba yin de karpu gewa yan tse di deba tang nyamba tang chu ji gi kyun lang pe chu chu gi chi chang le su song wa yin pe de dharma song wa ra che ba la rinpoche shen ne chu shi yin song. And after in the commentary he said, since such has been said by Nagarjuna, so the sentence about the karma before, you know, there are the three: desire, aversion, and stupidity. The actions brought about by these are non-virtues. So this is Nagarjuna. So since such has been said by Nagarjuna, it follows that if action motivated by these three so desire, attachment, and ignorance, were actually produced, they would result in the well-being of gods and human and so on. Even with respect to positive virtue, any Dharma activity which was motivated by the desire of this life, affliction, or the 8 worldly Dharma, has thereby become karma. Thus, in order to see to it that our actions do not proceed in this way, the precious Gambapa said that there are 4 dharmas. So it means in that part of the commentary, it means that it's interesting because he said that it follows that if action motivated by these 3, so desire, aversion, ignorance, were actually produced, they would result in the well-being of gods and human, and so on. So it's interesting, very interesting, because it means that, for instance, we can do many things just to secure our environment, secure our condition of life, and so on. We can do that. And we can even say that it's fine. I don't know if we can really say it's fine, but I mean, in the ordinary understanding of ourselves and of the life, we can say it's fine. So if I protect myself, it's fine. If I wish to gain happiness for myself, it's fine also, and it's okay. But he said that it will produce, so they would result in the well-being of gods and human, and so on. So it means that, and it's interesting for that because it means that this kind of Dharma, who is not the Dharma, it's not absolutely bad, but it will be samsaric. It will be something that just propels the samsara a little bit further, but it doesn't make us free from the samsara. Absolutely not. It means that we are in the same logic. So this is interesting because it means that for us we have to understand in what kind of logic we are acting. Logic, I mean the way of perceiving. The way of perceiving, we always act rationally, we can say, even if it's unrational. If I need to eat, so I do something in order to get food, for instance. So it's really rational. But there is always one logic behind this action. So the logic is the way I perceive things. So I perceive that it's important to defend myself in such and such a way, for instance. So there is something, let's say, more subliminal, so more unconscious, that is acting inside me, that makes me think that this is logical to act in that way. There is something that pushes me to do things. So this is the logic. So it means that here, and that's why it's not that easy to understand the first Dharma, because it means that first I have to understand the logic in which I'm doing things, by, or to say in another way, by which forces I'm acting. What are the forces in myself that make me acting in that way? It's like the what is the trigger? What is triggering in myself in order that I will do this or that? And we can say that this is the first step of a huge introspection. It means that I have to look to myself. It's interesting because it means that the Dharma doesn't start by practicing the Dharma. The Dharma starts by reflecting on the way I am practicing the Dharma. For instance, I take refuge, so I become Buddhist. perfect and it's marvelous. And after to really to go to proceed according to that refuge vows that I just received. So it means that I have to think about the way I'm doing things, usually, how I live my life, in fact. So it means that, because otherwise, Dharma doesn't go to the Dharma. So he said that in order to see to it that our action do not proceed in this way, the precious Gambapa said that there are 4 Dharmas. So it means that these 4 Dharmas are exactly here to make us understand how we act and how to act differently. So that's why I'm speaking about introspection, because it means lucidity, understanding of what we are doing and what the person we are, And if we know that, well, yeah, so we have a chance. So it means that, yeah. But if we don't know, so we'll just practice the Dharma. Good, but it's not enough. Because practicing the Dharma, and Gampapa, he's not saying that. It's interesting. Gampapa, he's not saying that practicing the Dharma is to do this. For instance, prostration, recitation, or so on. He said that, no, the first step of practicing the Dharma is to check if you act in an ordinary logic. So, in the aim of getting the well-being of gods and human, are you acting in this ordinary logic, or are you acting in the way of the Dharma itself? So what is the way of the Dharma itself? So it's interesting, because for us, I think, I'm this year, I am 60 years old. Incredible, Almost old, let's say. My father died. He was 60 years old. So it means that, okay, maybe I'm the end of my life. It's absolutely possible. So it means that I'm an old practitioner of the Dharma, let's say. But for that, with that teaching, it reminds me that I'm at the beginning, absolute beginner, because I cannot say for sure 100% that I'm not producing karma with the Dharma. But it doesn't has to be understood as something depressing, thinking that, wow, I will never be able to develop that kind of understanding. No, the contrary. It's just beautiful. It means that I have the chance to make it very simple, to make the Dharma really understandable, doable. Like Karmapa always says, it's doable. Yes, it's absolutely doable. I have just to pay attention at any instant at the way at the way I'm doing things, just to be present, really. I'm present and full of understanding, compassion, kindness to myself and to others. Because, I need this understanding, this compassion, this kindness to take care of myself and to take care of that being, what is named myself, to that being who is trying to act or to practice the Dharma as the Dharma. So to help myself to do it, And so I can start the practice. I can start the care, we can say. I can take care of the practice, by understanding that this is the practice. So the practice is not only, sure, it's also to do concrete, not concrete, but to do, meditating, reciting the mantra, absolutely important. But it means that any of these and any circumstance of my life, also our life, it's a chance to develop the Dharma. Because he didn't say that we have to use that only for when we are doing prostration, for instance. There was a long list, and he said, etc. So it means whatever we do, in fact, can become the Dharma also. Because whatever we do, it's like to say, whatever we do can be a chance, not a chance, but can be a way to accumulate karma, or a chance not accumulating karma. Just because the way we perceive, just because the way we're aware or not. If we're aware, so we have a chance. So we have to become aware. So I think that we even didn't start the first. We start, sure, but I mean after the text go further, you know, in these four dharmas, and but this is the general presentation of the four dharmas and the first two paragraphs of this commentary. So maybe we can, because I see that it's almost 10 o'clock, so maybe we can stop, or otherwise it's too long. What do you think, friends? Huh? We can stop there. Maybe you have a question, sure, or you want to say or express something. I don't know.
It could be whole day listening. But yes, it's known that when it is too long, the brain
No, sure.
No. All beings that will listen to this, so it's
No,
nice.
sure. No, and also because I'm drinking tea, you know, after I have to go to toilet, so it cannot be too long. I don't. Yeah, Casper. Yeah.
Really much thing to think about. You know, just paragraphs, and it's so vast. Yeah.
Yeah, really. You're right. It's so vast. It's incredible. No, for me, you know, because I was preparing this teaching in French for Lyon Center, you know, about the four dharmas of Gampopa, and so as I can say all the Kagyus, I thought, okay, the four dharmas of Gampopa, yeah, okay, yeah, it's absolutely important. But and after I start to really look at all these commentary, not all, but you know, I started the job just to understand, to better understand the four dharmas, and it's for me it's really amazing because it's so simple, so down to the earth, so. Yeah, I think it's really exactly what I need. I don't know it's what you need, but for myself, I can say it's really what I need because it seems so direct, you know, so incredible, you know. Just to say that, even if it's simple, but yes, wow, yeah. But you know, it makes me remember what Lama Tenzong always told me. Practicing the Dharma, it's okay, but what do you have to know? It's how to practice the Dharma, not just to practice the Dharma. And so I think it's absolutely clear. So this is exactly what Gampopa is saying to us, you know, practicing the Dharma, yes, fine, but how to practice the Dharma, you know? And it's not that, okay, I understood, so now I can start. No, it means that all along the way, I have to always reflect on that. Always. Otherwise, you know, I can only spend my life thinking that I'm practicing the Dharma, but it's not absolutely sure. Okay, there is a message from Elisa Amadeus. Okay, if you enjoy with that teaching, it's perfect, it's good. It's good. Okay, so friends, we stop here. What do you think? Yeah, maybe, no?
Yeah, Margaret, first I want to thank you because those teachings are great and really you took out a lot of pressure I put on myself to be a good practitioner, but be not so strict and not to be relaxed. And yes, before you finish, because you will not say the idea of this meeting. I mean, you say in the beginning is like to make it accessible, the Dharma, also this kind of discussions and learning from all parts of the world, and because many of us, we don't speak French and we don't have access to your teachings directly, then the idea is, the conditions are okay, is continue with these teachings regularly each week, if it's possible, to in the same time. If there is changes because of the program, then we will adjust to the changes. And yes, and also remind that also one of the parameters is generosity, and we are able to also to do donations to the in the website of the center in Geneva. And then also these donations are also welcome to continue giving the conditions to have all these wonderful teachings. And then yes, the only thing I wanted to say, like, thank you very much. Like, for me, it's I'm really thirsty of Dharma, and it's very meaningful.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Maybe what we can do in order also to share the documents, because I would like to send you the commentary, and so you can learn also from your side, and after you can have questions also about that, and it can be maybe helpful. We can try our best to use it in a proper way. So maybe why not to create a WhatsApp group? What do you think? Or maybe you prefer to have just an email list, and I send you the info, Pavel, and after you forward them. What do you think? What would be?
I think if I recognize also my skills, it's good. Like, we have a group, and I don't have to be the person who is sending, like more like open space where you can send what you consider important, and then we have access to it.
Mm-hmm, okay. And do you want to? What do you think? You think a WhatsApp group can be?
Yeah, I think WhatsApp group is an excellent idea. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you want to create the group, Pavel?
I will create it.
Okay, perfect. And you will create, and I can send you the commentary and different info about Gampapa if you want.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Perfect. So we do like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And
I have one question. Do you have? Sure. Can you send us the contact to make donations, like some PayPal or bank accounts or something like that?
Yeah, maybe I will send you maybe directly the link to the page of the website of Geneva Center, and there you can. There is this system of credit card, for instance, or PayPal, and so you can be totally free of making a donation or not. But the system is really as Pavel said, so it's the practice of generosity. Just to understand that we call it dana. In Sanskrit means just to give, and it's just a practice thinking that we support the activity. It's not thinking that we buy something. You never buy something, and I never will sell something. Absolutely not. Otherwise, we're merchants, and no, absolutely not. It's not that way. And so feel free, just and according to what you can do, it's a common effort, effort for all of us to try to make this sharing of the Dharma existing. It's just that, and it's important also to be clear of the motivation. This is absolutely important. The motivation for me, it has not to be, okay, I will give a teaching so I will get money. If I do that, I'm totally wrong. And may I never do that, you know, because otherwise I will lose myself. So it will be terrible, you know. The Dharma will become a poison for me. So it has not to be like this. So that's why you have also for you to feel free, you know, not to think you have to give. You just give if it's meaningful for you, and it's really. We are all with our mind, you know, with our motivation. So, no, just to say.
And Mario, I have another question about who could have access to these teachings. Is this okay also to maybe share with someone or invite someone who has not refuge? It's all right.
I think these kind of teachings. People, you know, a person who is interested in the Dharma, I think that person can understand something. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. We can see. But you know, it's these four dharmas of Gambapa are a general teaching. You know, there is nothing, you know, to be hide in this, and so we can share. So the main point for us is the motivation, you know, why we share, and if we share to help people, you know, it's perfect. So we can do, really, I think. But you know, but this will reflect together. We are together, you know, and so it's not that I take the decision. But concerning the Dharma, we can, because definitely, you know, this kind of teaching we can share, you know. Yeah, this is sure. And I will never say something too deep that people, they cannot understand, because, you know, a secret instruction, let's say secret, you know, secret instruction anyway, I cannot give, and we don't have to give. So forget about that. So the rest we can, yeah, the rest is the Dharma, the way of thinking, the way of reflecting. So I think it's okay. It's okay. So what now? It's on YouTube, but in a, let's say, a sort of private. You know, it's not because people there are how we say, the abonné means those they register those they register to the channel, YouTube channel, they are not receiving the announcement that there is now a teaching, you know, using that kind of transmission. So it means that after there is the link, and I can send you the link of this video and on YouTube, and people, they can watch the video. All of them, I mean, those you think they can be interested in that. And after, you know, if really people they want, so we can make it totally public. But maybe first, you know, we share like that, so we see if people they think that it's interesting for them, useful for them, and in that case, so we can after we can decide to make it totally public. What do you think? So like that, we proceed slowly, understanding what we are doing, you know. Okay, if it's clear, so we can stop here with the dedication of the merits. So this is really important, because it's a way also to offer all these merits to all the beings, and all the sentient beings, and to make the wishes that it may it help them, all these sentient beings, to get free from the samsara, so from the suffering of their confusion, limitation, grasping, and so on. So nam de tam je zeng pa ne tam ne nye be da nam pam je ke ga na je ba la to ba yi se be zo le do wa do rai sho. Okay, thank you very much. And Yes, and yeah, I think Saturday it's maybe possible. Maybe not all Saturdays. We'll see for that. Otherwise, yeah, because sometimes I need also to do other things. But we'll see. I think on a regular basis can be good. So yeah, I didn't check for next Saturday because I didn't thought about that. But we check and we say okay, and because we are a small group, it's very good. So we can adapt. We can find the proper organization, and after we do. But on the principle, I think it's nice if we meet regularly about these teachings. Okay. So all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I will push the red button, the end. Okay. Oh, a cat. It's a cat. Oh, so
Yes.
cute. So cute. So cute. So cute. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care of yourself.